Thank you. I have a little hearing deficiency too, so. My name is Artyom, and I'm an associate pastor at a church in Oxbridge, Massachusetts. I thank you very much, Senator Metz, for bringing in the spiritual aspect of it. And I certainly am here representing that spiritual aspect myself. I've been in prayer. One of the things that's broken my heart, not just in the gun debate, but also in many other aspects of my country, is we're a divided nation. And I pray and hope for a way for us to be able to listen to one another. There was a time in my life when I would have been here wearing a red shirt. I grew up in the 60s, went to college in the 60s, so I was a peace, love, and flowers generation. And it was the world that I wanted it to be. I heard somebody talk about in a perfect world. And I really believed we could make a perfect world. I don't believe that we're capable of doing that as human beings. I think we can make it a better world. And one way is to really learn how to listen to one another. Somewhere along the line, I recognized things weren't going right. And I had some different attitudes. I've been a school teacher. I taught high school in North Providence for 29 years. And then I've been in ministry full-time for the last 20 years. I run a food pantry at our church. We minister to some of the most broken families, some of the most dysfunctional situations that in my generation growing up, it just wouldn't even have entered into my mind that things could be that bad. And as pastors and clergy, we're fighting it out on a systemic level. There's a breakdown in our culture. You can't fix that. Evil exists. When someone was talking about mental health, yep, there's mental health issues, and we have to deal with those. And you're going to have to wrestle with that. There's things you can't fix. I'm sorry, but it's true. And I know the issue here is guns. By the way, I'm going to try and be brief, but preachers aren't always known for that, so I will do everything I can to get to my points. I do have a few written down here. Say?
We appreciate that. Thank you.
I really want to hear what you have to say, Senator Archibald, but you're very soft-spoken for me, so. One of the things I believe that, well, if you'll just bear with me for a second, Jesus, when he was standing before Pilate, said that, for this reason I was born, for this reason I came into this world, to testify to the truth. All those who are on the side of truth hear my voice. And that indicated something to me, that there's not sides, different sides and shades of truth, but there is truth, and we're either with it or we're not. And forgive me, if I ever cross a line where I say something that is not truth, it's because of ignorance. And I've heard things said here tonight, I've heard things, and it tends to blow away the credibility of people who are talking. I heard Senator Lombardi say something earlier. I wrote it down. He said, bad facts equals bad decisions. And for those of you that are here in the red shirts, I really would love to. I hear your voice. I know the things that you fear. I know the concerns that you have, and they're concerns that we share. Being a teacher, being a dad, being a grandfather, safety of kids is so important to me. It's how are we going to get there? What are the things that we can do? Since we can't eliminate evil, that's the Lord's business. These are some of the things that really trouble me And I'm sure it troubles anyone that are Second Amendment defenders like myself. When I hear somebody say that the only thing you can do with an AR-15 is hunt people, that's an insult to me personally. That's an accusation to me. When I hear somebody say the only reason somebody would want a high-capacity magazine is so that they can kill more people, those are the kind of things that shut down honest discussion and honest debate, because they're just not true. I got into shooting firearms about 7 years ago, and I did it because I was concerned about protecting my home. I'm now 71 years old. I don't run as fast as I used to. I don't think I could take a beating like I could when I was a kid, but I want to be able to protect my home and my family like any reasonable person would. It's just, what are you going to use to do it? And I would like the opportunity to make the choice of what I use to defend. And another term that I hear used so often is a weapon of war. Weapons of war are things like bazookas and tanks and napalm. When someone was saying, well, there's no difference between an M16 and an AR-15, except this one little thing. This little switch that you can make it go to burst fire and full automatic. Well, that little difference is a huge difference. That's what makes the difference between a civilian rifle and a weapon of war. An AR-15 is not a weapon of war. When I hear that, I'm hearing something that, to me, is a lie. I bristle at it. Please, let's start thinking about the words that we use. I'm going to try and be careful. I'm not going to try and assault the character of people who have a different opinion about me and my beliefs. I'm not going to try and point my finger at somebody and assign a motive to why it is they want what they want or they're saying what they're saying. I can't see what's in your heart, and you can't see what's in mine. The Lord can. So please, can we stop with the accusations? And I'm appealing to people on both sides. I'm appealing to my own friends in the shooting community. And darn it, after I started shooting, I found out it's a lot of fun. It's just plain a lot of fun. I like putting holes in paper. A magazine capacity, I like putting more holes in paper. It's that simple. Why do I need an AR-15? Well, why does someone need an SUV when they're just one person driving? Please don't be telling me, as a free citizen, what I need to enjoy my life or to protect my life. I don't want a bazooka. I don't want a Sherman tank. I want to talk about teachers. I want to address the issue of teachers. And again, the verbiage, even the people in the pro-Second Amendment community use a phrase, and they talk about arming teachers. I don't like that, because when I think of arming teachers, I'm thinking of teachers lining up on a Monday morning, walking into class and being handed an M16. That's arming the teachers. They don't want to do it. I wouldn't want to arm somebody that doesn't want to be armed. I don't think anybody would. But what would be the problem if a teacher is trained? Now, I have a concealed carry license in this state and in Massachusetts. I carry my gun in church. There have been shootings in churches. You're aware of that. There's a story that really affected me greatly when I first started investigating this. It took place in South Africa. We say, well, nothing happens like shooting outside of America. It was a South African church. and was attacked by some terrorists. And I believe that they had AK-47s. And this man had been a former military man, but he was not allowed to carry a rifle anymore. But he had a .38 revolver, 5 shots he happened to be carrying. When they came in, they had some guys waiting outside for people to be running outside. They were going to, take care of them. He took out his revolver and got behind some pews while the shooting was going on, was able to fire several shots. I believe he didn't kill the man. I believe he wounded him, and he ran outside. This man went running outside afterwards and realized, I'm out of ammunition. I'm out of ammunition. Now, his shooting stopped the incident. They got in their van and drove off. Teachers are not idiots. They are competent people. And some of them may very well want to carry a firearm, concealed. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody else even has to know. But in an incident, and I don't care what type of firearm someone was coming in, I don't care if someone's coming in with a machete, a baseball bat, a pressure cooker bomb. We're talking about only guns are killing people. We know pressure cookers are. We know baseball bats are being used. Airplanes are being used. Automobiles are being used to run down people. But someone comes into a school with ill intent, or someone comes into a church with ill intent, and someone is armed, they at least have the chance to defend. One of my kids is a teacher, and they did a drill the day after the Florida shooting, and they did a lockdown drill. And she said, I felt so helpless because I didn't know what would happen if someone came through the door. Please don't take that right away. We may be one of the few states that's doing it. I believe that there are going to be more that are allowing teachers to carry a concealed firearm. If they are trained and it's their desire, please let them do it. I have a little concern about the red flag issue. In my experience as a pastor and as an experience as a teacher, I find that sometimes people lie. Sometimes students used to lie to me, stop them in the corridor, and they'd make up a good story. I have to say, here's my concern. And this is your concern. You're going to have to figure out how to, accommodate this. But both in the domestic violence bill and in the red flag bill that you're coming to, how are you going to prevent a situation where there's a neighbor that I don't like? Maybe his dog did doo-doo on my lawn or something like that. I've got a beef with him over something, and I know he has a firearm. I don't like the political sign he's got out in front of his house. And I'm phoning in, and I'm saying, this guy's a threat. What do we have to protect? We treat that person as guilty first, take his firearms away, and then he has to petition to get it back. Domestic violence, same thing. I have seen domestic violence, and it makes me bristle when I see what a man would do with his wife. But I've also seen instances where a wife will lie and say something that's not true. It happens. What is to protect that person from a false accusation? Like I said in the beginning, and I'm bringing it to a close here, it's a systemic problem. Talking about gun control. I pray for self-control. You can't make that happen. That's the job of the church and the clergy. That's what we try and bring to the table. Teachers can bring a lot to the table. You can bring a lot to the table. I want you to know this, though. You can't legislate evil away. You can't. And every attempt that we make just to limit things to firearms is really punishing more, and we've heard the word, law-abiding citizens. Don't take away our Second Amendment rights, please.